This epoxy river table was an order I got from a lawyer in Baltimore who found me on my Etsy site. My Etsy site is swproducts.etsy.com. I will leave a link in the description. He liked the design of my other epoxy river tables, but wants something a little different. Most of my tables are cherry, and the epoxy is usually blue. This table is by far the biggest epoxy river table I have done so far, measuring 48 inches wide by 96 inches long. And it is the first epoxy river table I did with walnut instead of cherry. The walnut slabs were purchased from a woman in Haddonfield, New Jersey. Her father was a woodworker and cut down walnut trees on his property 60 years ago. He stored the walnut slabs in his basement, but eventually passed away. I recently purchased some of the slabs from his daughter and stored them in my garage, knowing they would be great for tables or cutting boards. I had to buy a manual feed slab mill to flatten each slab, as the tabletop would be too big for my CNC machine. The CNC machine I have now is 4 feet by 4 feet, and it was just, if I wanted to do it on there, I would have had to do one side and then turn it around 90 degrees and then do the other side, and it's actually really difficult. I attempted to do a table this size before, and it just didn't go well. The router mill I bought was from True Track, and it took some getting used to at first. I went across the grain with the router, but I think going with the grain probably would have given me a better result. The router had a 2-inch flattening bit on it and left some pretty deep mill marks in certain areas. So in this clip I used a small plane, hand plane, to remove some of those mill marks. I next tried sanding the rest of the mill marks with 80 grit sandpaper, but quickly realized I needed something more coarse. So I bought some 40 and 60 grit sandpaper to make the rough sanding go a little quicker, and it definitely worked. Once all the rough sanding was done, I started filling all the little cracks, bug holes, voids with epoxy, then sanded and sanded some more. Once all the sanding was done, I used tried and true varnish oil for the finish. It's very easy to apply and gives the wood a natural look. All you do is just wipe it on, let it sit for like an hour, and then wipe off the excess. It also says on the website that the finish will harden with age. Overall, I am very happy with how the table turned out. There are a lot of interesting designs in the wood grain throughout the table. Some straight grain areas, bug hole filled areas, which actually turned black. I'm not really sure why, but it looks great against the dark brown walnut. There was a small amount of curling around some of the knots, which just adds to the complexity of the overall look. I do wish the tabletop could have been a little bit thicker, but I had to remove a lot of material because of how twisted and bowed the slabs were. The final thickness of the tabletop was around 1 inch. For the legs, I purchased some metal legs from a company I found online. The company was called Semi-Exact. I found them online and liked the look of their designs, and they also offered a lot of different options for height and width. They were very well made and no issues. Just another note on the 4x8 True Track slab mill. I thought the design was really great and the extrusion was machined really well. There was just one minor issue I had with it. It comes with a couple bubble levels on the part that holds the router. And I found that one of the bubble levels was not seated properly, and so it was pretty much useless. It looks like they poured glue into a slot and then placed the bubble level into that slot. But for whatever reason, the one level did not seat properly. It looked like the glue was kind of like holding it up on one side, or pushing it up. I will be uploading more woodworking videos in the future, depending on how this goes. This is my first attempt at making a woodworking video, so I hope you enjoy it or get something from it. Thank you for watching.